Have you ever noticed how one person's attention can completely change the way you feel about yourself? If they text you or give you attention, you suddenly feel amazing. If they ignore you, you feel bad about yourself. That is what happens when we crave validation. Hi, I'm Simona, and today we're going to talk about why we crave validation and how to stop. First of all, I want to make a clear distinction, okay, between liking validation and needing validation. And what do I mean by that? We do like when other people give us validation, when other people sees us or when they praise our work, okay? That's very normal. And the other way around, if some people are ignoring you or maybe saying some negative things, like you are going to feel it in some way. And it's actually because of evolution, because back in the day, we were caveman and cavewoman. We were very in a tribe, we were very dependent on other people, and it was very important for us to be a part of a tribe, and therefore we developed okay, we need to fit in this tribe. We cannot have the tribe turn against us, because if they turn against us, then we will actually die. We cannot survive by ourselves. But in the modern world, of course, we can survive by ourselves, but still our brain hasn't catched up to the idea that we can. So we're still very affected by our tribe. Let's say the people at school, your mind will view them as your tribe. So when they suddenly turn on you, or they don't validate you, you will feel it, because that's how we are wired as humans. When validation becomes dangerous is when other people's validation affect how you feel about yourself. And an example to illustrate this distinction is, okay, let's say you like a guy or a girl, you think they're cute, and when they give you attention, maybe they text you a lot, are very nice to you, it's going to feel good. Okay, and the other way around, if they're maybe ignoring you or they don't seem to like you back, they're not replying to your text, it's not going to feel very good. And that's just how it is. We are humans and we do feel emotions, and those emotions are very normal. The moment it becomes dangerous is when they giving you that attention, they being nice to you, is making you see yourself as a more lovable person or as a better person. Okay, because that shouldn't come from them, that should come from you. Okay, it's you that should be looking in the mirror and saying to yourself, I am lovable, I am important, I love myself, not them. And also the other way around, if they ignoring you or not texting you, is making you feel like an unlovable person, like a person that doesn't deserve love or nice things, or making you feel like, what is wrong with me? That's when it becomes dangerous. It's very difficult to do something about the emotion part, because we are humans, we have emotion, and it's a very deep a part of us. So I don't think we should necessarily do something about the emotion part, but we can do something about what those feelings mean to us. Okay, maybe we cannot change the feelings, maybe we can change that we like when people praise us, or we don't like when people ignore us, the feelings that then come up. Maybe we cannot change that, but we can change what those feelings mean. Something bad happens, you feel sad, maybe you feel a bit angry, okay, but you can reframe it in your head that it doesn't have to make you a miserable person. Okay, you can have something happen to you, you have the event, the pain, and then you have the suffering. It's the story that you attach to it. Maybe someone was rude to you. That doesn't have to do anything with you, okay? Even though it made you sad in the moment, like a person being rude to you, and maybe it did made you feel a bit not good in the moment, but that doesn't have to define you. But some people do attach a big meaning to it. They feel, okay, that person was rude to me, that has to mean that something is wrong with me, or I did something. But that is not necessarily the case. Okay, you can say okay, that is their behavior, their problem. It doesn't have to do anything with you. You can control the story, you can control the narrative. Okay, maybe let's say the guy or the girl didn't like you, and then in your mind you're like, okay, but that means that I'm not lovable. But that doesn't have to be true. You decide the meaning, okay? You can be like, no, I am lovable. I love myself. Okay, but how do we stop craving that validation? First step is awareness. I want you to be very aware about when those feelings come up. Think about it. Is it when you are with your friends, your family, at school, maybe at work? I want you to really think about it, okay, in your day-to-day life. When is it when you feel like you need kind of some validation, or in which settings does when someone ignore you or doesn't give you a lot of attention or validation? Like, when does it affect you? And I want you to get very specific about the persons that makes you feel this way, okay? Like, think about the specific people, like that person, like their name, like, that human being is making me feel that way. I want you to get very granular about that, because sometimes it can be, okay, we want the people at school to validate us, like our classmates or, a friend group at school. But then you think about, okay, but which exact people do we need that validation from? And sometimes your brain's like, maybe there isn't like a specific person. We just want, like all of them. But I want you to get very specific about the person. Next, I want you to ask yourself, why do you care so much about what that person thinks, okay? Because think about it for a second. Their opinions, their thoughts, their actions is all formed in their brain. So I want you to ask yourself, why do you care so much about how their brain works, okay? Why do you care so much about the opinions their brain form about you, okay? Because it's literally just a brain, okay? Why are you making this person so important in your life? Is it because they're popular, they're attractive, maybe you like them a lot and you value their opinion? It might take some time to get the answers, and maybe you won't get a very specific answer, but I think you put it a lot into perspective. Maybe you didn't realize that you needed their validation, but now you are more aware of it. And another important thing is people view life through their own lens, and their lens is shaped by their experience, their struggles, their insecurities, okay? How they view the world and the people in the world is shaped by their experience, by who they are as a person. Classic example is envy. Let's say you have a very insecure person that's maybe very insecure about their appearance. And when they see a very attractive person who's confident, they can feel very threatened about that, because they don't have that thing and they want that thing. And some people, they will feel more inspired by seeing people having those things, while some people, they will feel very envious, like they want that thing and they'll think that person deserves to have that thing. So they'll be very negative towards that person, but that person hasn't done anything to them. Maybe they don't even know that person, but they will be hateful towards that person because that person reflects something within themselves, because they are beautiful and confident, and that person doesn't feel that about themselves and they want that for themselves. They're going to be very hateful toward that person. Maybe they're going to write negative things about them or speak negatively about them. Why a lot of celebrities have haters that just write hate comments to them and they don't even know that person, okay? Because they're successful and beautiful, have a lot of money, and they feel very jealous towards that person, but that person hasn't done anything to them. So it's very important to remember that sometimes people are just going to project their feelings, their experience, and their insecurities on you. You can be the most kindest, beautiful, smartest person in the room. There's still going to be some people that are going to be hateful towards you. I remember in high school, I knew a girl. She was so beautiful and so kind. And I remember some girls at school, like a girls group, they didn't invite her to party or didn't want to hang out with her because she was too nice, okay? Because she was too kind to others, okay? Some people are just so spiteful and hateful for no reason. How can you hate on someone because they're too kind? So sometimes people treat you badly, not because of who you are, but what you represent to them, okay? What feelings you awaken in them. And you can literally do nothing. You can just exist, breathe, drink water, literally do nothing, and people are still going to hate on you, okay? Because there are just some people that are going to project all their insecurities onto other people, and they're going to hate those people because they do or have things that they want, but they're not getting or not doing something about. Okay, so I want you to remember that. So when someone is rude or hateful to you, don't take it personally, because people view things through their own lens, and their lens is shaped by who they are and their insecurities. Okay, you cannot control other people's behavior. That is literally impossible. Okay, people are going to behave the way that they do, but your self-worth doesn't have to be affected by that, okay? And as I said, it's okay if someone's behavior or, opinions, if that kind of hurts you or makes you feel good, that's perfectly normal, but you can change what those feelings mean to you, okay? They don't have to mean anything to you. You are the only person that decides your self-worth, okay? You cannot let your value be in other people's hands. So that was my advice on validation and how to stop needing it. Let me know what you think, if you have any question or if there's anything you want me to talk about. And feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I will be back with more advice for you guys. Bye.